lives and lend an ear. A tale I'll tell of steam and gear, when iron beasts from stars to fall to heed mankind's industrial call. With furnace breath and coal-fed might, they rose to guard the world from blight. Not steeds of flesh, but steel and flame, Autobots was their ancient name. Brave primately, with hearts so bold, and gears of brass and frame of gold, while Megatron, with schemes most vile, did plot beneath the smokestack's guile. On tracks they clashed, in skies they soared, with piston fists and lightning swords, a war not waged by man or beast, but cogs and souls from west to east. To steel-bound kin who fought that peace might yet begin. Though bolts may rust and oil may dry, their hearts of steel shall never die.
Okay, so I know I, turned that into a whole song and dance production, but that was some fancy packaging, and anyone who's a fan of the Hearts of Steel comics will know this is exciting. This is a big deal. Even if the figures themselves are, well, tiny. So normally size comparisons is something I do much later in the game, but they're so strikingly small that I thought I better do it off the top, just to measure expectations from the get-go. So here's the little engine that could, alongside 86 Optimus, and Starscream with 86 Starscream. Now I know what you're thinking. Ham. That's an unfair comparison. That's a Voyager and a Commander alongside two Deluxes. But to even things out, here they are with Armada Wheeljack. Why Armada Wheeljack? Because he was next to me. That's why. Now, I know in that lineup, next to another Deluxe, they don't seem like they're coming off too bad. But I think the issue for me is that they're almost too good to have been shrunk down to Deluxe class figures. These guys are beautiful. Let's start with Optimus. The sculpt on him is incredible, right? All the tiny pop rivets that make up his panel work, the little inlays on the whistle. The paint decos are quite delicate with the gold piping and the faux windshield inlays. The cowcatcher is delicately sculpted, he's got his little belt buckle. All these inlaid panels here where they've picked out some extra bits with the paint apps. Just from the level of detail, even in the back there, look, we've got some clockwork business happening. It's a steampunk fever dream. He really feels like he should be bigger than he is. And there's something about, I think to get this level of detail, they had to sculpt them out of like quite a hard plastic. So they almost feel a little bit brittle. I know that's weird to say, but I don't know. They feel like figures from a bygone era. They're giving me a little bit of like a Revlotech vibe. Strange, I know. And if we come in on that head sculpt, that is beautiful. Look at the subtle, tiny little nubbins that are on his faceplate and running up the crest of his head, and how it's so overtly Optimus Prime, but they've done a great job of capturing that steampunk flavor from the comic designs. And Starscream well and truly follows suit. Incredibly well sculpted and delicate head deco. His is a little bit more washed out. I don't know if this is painted plastic, the black, but it's just a little bit more gluggy. But everywhere else, same with the rivets, the kind of steampunky inlays, the panel work. He looks amazing. Having so many different apps picked out in his chest, it would have been very easy to leave this little bit of Steamworks under there, but they picked it out anyway. And right, spinning propellers. That's never not a satisfying thing to find on a figure. Even his insane Craven Genie shoes are super working for me. And anywhere where it's, a little bit hollow, same deal. Filled out beautifully with all this delicately sculpted detail. I think it's these features that almost makes it feel like a waste that they're this small. You could blow these exact molds up to Voyager scale and the detail would still seem above and beyond. Accessory-wise, they're not packing a huge amount. Optimus has his megaphone gun and a cheeky parts-forming shield, the laziest of all accessories. Starscream comes with his railgun null ray things, which, I do wish they pegged in on his shoulders, but they're pretty cool on the forearms. Articulation-wise, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. We'll start again with Optimus. Head is on a great ball joint. He can throw all kinds of Industrial Revolution coded attitude. Arms go all the way around. There's a little bit of a backwards butterfly that's from transformation, but it doesn't look weird, so I use it. What you gonna do about it? His elbows go past 90. Love that. Waist swivel. Universal thighs that are impeded by his cowcatcher skirt. So it's like, it is a little bit articulated, but it doesn't quite come up enough out of the way for a full forward, but that crotch piece is kind of blocking it anyway. Thigh swivel and a past a 90 bend on those knees. Then he's got a good amount of forward on the foot and a little bit of ankle rock. Just a little bit. If you ever look, it's actually sculpted so that it could go quite far, but his own colossal calves are inhibiting it. STARSCREAM, sadly, does not have a ball jointed head, it just swivels. His arms will not go all the way around because only this part of the wing is articulated. You can't bend these ones further back, which is a bit of a bummer. Elbow swivel. Nice little clicky elbows that go ever so slightly past a 90. No waist swivel here, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you know, all of this business can sort of move around a bit. So you can get those legs quite high up. And then his knees, probably a 90. Get some down toe and a little bit of ankle tilt. So articulation is decent, but there are a few bits that are missing that I feel like definitely could have been enhanced by blowing up the scale a little bit. That said, they still will throw all kinds of awesome looking shapes. They can pose out in a way that gives them the gravity that this kind of Wild West frontier form demands. So the transformation is actually a lot more fun than it probably has any right to be. Pop off his accessories, come around, twist around these hands, twist the arm around, bring it up, make the shape, arm around, make the shape, arms folded away like that, come around the back, pop this whole bit out, fold the head down, and this whole assembly is going to click clack down on itself. You get that little piece in there, and these arms twist around, twist around, and they will plug up and connect up in. Really got to make sure the hips are in the right place. Okay? Then you want to come around, get the cow catcher in place. That'll just sit in that little recess at the front. It can be a little bit of a pain because it is made out of a significantly softer plastic, but you can see where it needs to pinch in there. The legs are pretty cool. So flick this bit out and around. The foot just folds up like that inside. Right, down, around, foot up inside. The knees will collapse down on themselves. You just want to bring them up, and there's a little notch there where this tab will clip in. The legs together on the underside like this. Then, again, I hate this kind of parts forming, especially when this piece doesn't actually sit in that nicely. It's just got these little nooks there. I'm gonna hit these bits there, and this bit kinda sits in that recess there, but it's not a good feeling. Then take his gun, fold the barrel away, and now this just has these notches there where this is going to slip in like so. And then we have tiny, adorable Optimus Prime train. All aboard. Now for Starscream, get him all straightened out. You don't have to take off the null rays for transformation necessarily, but it does make it a little bit easier. Flip down that butt flap, flip down that head, plug that all in. Then we're going to want to take these arms, make sure they're nice and straight. Right, then this whole assembly is going to lift up and tab in to the underside here with a real satisfying click. And leave the top of his shoulders there, then the arms themselves are going to come down and sit nice and straight by his side. You want those ports facing up. Again, make sure these grills are up because they will fill out some of the old mode. Once you're at this point, you want to put his guns back in because it's going to be difficult to get access to him, to these ports once you finish transforming. And by difficult, I mean impossible. So get those in there, flip up that waist piece, fold out these struts, and they're going to port in under the wings, and that'll finish out that whole biplane sort of aesthetic. Then under here, we're going to flip this whole bit forward like so, with the legs out, roll the hips down, because I think it actually makes it a bit easier if they're facing this way, but whatever. Bend and flip, and there's just this little notch here where these are just going to friction in if you get it just right. And I like to have the tail out. And there is Starscream. This I love. I know it's insane, and I know it doesn't quite hit on how he looked in the comic, but I love this, right? Who doesn't love flicking propellers? Especially crazy, like Evil Knievel, Batwingy looking propellers like this. This to me, this is fantastic. Right, and you gotta admit, they really are delivering on what they're, you know, aiming to deliver on. This is kind of industrial revolutionary steampunk Transformers. The robot mode hit the brief, and the alt modes definitely understood the assignment. But the alt mode is where my love of this Prime dies a little inside. It's, with the size of him and the colors, it's really difficult for him to read as anything other than just adorable. He's too cute. He's too cute for his own good, and I'm not super here for it. I really think that they would have been better off making these releases like a Deluxe and a Voyager. Even then, if you wanted to keep Prime this big, at least if he had a coal car, right, that had like roller or like faked some of the trailer elements, it would have gone so far towards making him feel like he has the gravity of a Prime rather than being this adorable chibi train. Now Starscream, I know his legs are, you know, hanging off the bottom rather egregiously, but I think there's enough going on here that for me this is a really satisfying alt mode. The hands out the back is a little bit naff, but you know, it was a janky time. Designs weren't sleek, welds weren't seamless, rivets as far as the eye can see, and it's just, I don't know, it's satisfying, right? Now I'll get you next time, Prime. Next time. You won't get away with this, Chopper. I don't know, I love it. And so that's a wrap on this adorable little set. So cool to finally have official representations of these characters. From what they've said, each year they're going to do Optimus, Starscream, Megatron, and Bumblebee in some kind of, you know, what-if scenario. And I think that's fun. I really like it when they, you know, play with the concept like that a little bit. It's why the Transformers crossover figures are always such a fun time, and you look forward to their release. I do think it hurts from them all being deluxes, and I understand why they want to do that in terms of it being, you know, an appealingly affordable set for people to pick up. The fact that they're also relatively obscure characters, I think, as well, is why they, you know, downplayed the scale a little bit. But, like, Starscream is okay as a deluxe. He would have been awesome as a Voyager, but Optimus, he really needed to be bigger, or at least, you know, like I said before, come with a coal car to fill it out. I think it probably would have been okay, honestly, if Bumblebee was, you know, this size, that deluxe size, Megatron was a Voyager, Optimus was a leader to give him more coal car and accessories, and you probably could have kept Starscream as a deluxe, you know, hit all the price points. But for what it is, they're amazingly detailed, they feel great. A lot of love and care has clearly gone into these. Even if they do feel a little light and brittle, I think that was necessary to get the maximum effect of the detail out of the sculpt. So hopefully you've had as much fun as I have. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you did have a good time. And be sure to hit me up in the comments, alright? Let's get nerdy with it. Are you going to get this set? Have you read the comic? Are you confused about why these even exist? I want to know. Let's get into it. Let's get nerdy with it. And until the next one, catch.